You eat healthy. You avoid gluten, dairy, maybe even grains. You take probiotics. You drink water. You've tried intermittent fasting, low FODMAP, digestive enzymes. And yet, you still feel bloated. Your stomach swells unpredictably. Your clothes feel tight by evening. You feel sluggish, uncomfortable, and often discouraged. Most people blame food. But what if the issue isn't your digestion, but your brain's connection to your gut? In this episode, we'll explore the neuroscience of bloating. You'll learn why chronic bloating is often neurological, not just nutritional, and how your vagus nerve, stress circuits, interoception, and emotional regulation play a central role in your digestive health. We'll also break down how to retrain your nervous system to reduce bloating without relying on restrictive diets or endless supplements. Because your gut isn't just a tube. It's a second brain, and your bloating may be a message from your nervous system, not your food. Question for you, Gu. What if the bloating you feel in your stomach actually starts in your brain and ends when you learn to regulate your nervous system? Let's begin with the foundation. The gut and the brain are not separate systems. They are part of one continuous communicationist, the gut-brain axis. And they speak via the G, the vagus nerve, the enteric nervous system, ENS, often called the second brain, the immune, messengers, cytokinase, hormonal signals. The ENS contains over 100 million neurons, more than your spinal cord. It governs motility, how your intestines move, G, secretion, G, nutrient absorption, G, immune defense. Most importantly, it is bidirectional, meaning your thoughts, emotions, and stress levels affect your digestion in real time. This explains why the anxiety causes urgency, G, sadness suppresses appetite, chronic stress triggers IBS symptoms. Bloating isn't always from what you ate, but from how your nervous system responded after. Challenge: could your bloating be less about the meal and more about the neurological state you were when you ate it? The vagus nerve is the primary highway of the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest state. It runs from your brainstem through your neck, chest, and down into your abdomen. It innervates the stomach's X small and large intestines, X pancreas, XJ gallbladder. When the vagus nerve is toned and responsive, it promotes the XU, optimal digestion, X reduced inflammation, X proper motility, so food doesn't sit, and fermentation, lower cortisol and improved gut lining repair. But when vagal tone is low, often due to chronic stress, trauma, or sedentary living, the digestive system shifts into dysregulation, excess, bloating, constipation, gas, food sensitivities. This is why people with anxiety, trauma histories, or burnout often report unexplained gut issues, especially bloating. Vagal tone is measurable via heart rate variability, NHRV, and modifiable through J breathwork, long exhalations, humming or chanting cold exposure, gargling, daily movement, and posture. Ask yourself, are you supporting the nerve that controls your digestion or ignoring the root of your bloating? Have you ever noticed that some people feel extremely bloated after eating small meals, while others don't notice even after overeating? That's the concept of interoception. Your brain's ability to sense internal bodily signals. The brain interprets signals from the gut via the insula, anterior cingulate cortex, and somatosensory cortex. When this system is hypersensitive, it can create a state of visceral hypersensitivity, a core feature of many bloating conditions. This means HJ, normal gas volume, is perceived as painful. J, mild fullness, is interpreted as extreme bloating. Slight distension feels overwhelming. In essence, the brain amplifies the gut signal. This is often not caused by inflammation or food, but by brain plasticity shaped by chronic stress or past trauma. Neuroscience-based solutions ends the edgy body scan meditations, G, somatic therapy, Z, breath-based awareness, EG. Coherent breathing, X, biofeedback and neurofeedback. Retraining the brain to correctly interpret gut signals is key to reducing bloating when no dietary fix works. Challenge egg. What if the bloating isn't all in your gut, but in how your brain has learned to hear your body? And how can you start retraining that perception today? Stress has direct, measurable effects on gut motility. The coordinated muscle contractions that move food through your digestive tract. Here's what happens under stressing, GG. The sympathetic nervous system activates fight or flight. Sex of blood flow to the gut is reduced X, digestive enzymes and bile decrease G. The migrating motor complex, MMCs, is inhibited. The MMC is critical for clearing food, gas, and bacteria between meals. When it stalls, bloating and fermentation increase. This is why people who eat clean can still bloat. If their gut is stagnant due to nervous system overload, solutions include eating in a parasympathetic state, slow, calm, no screens, GG, leaving 4 hours between meals to allow MMC to activate, light movement after eating X, practicing box breathing before meals. Stress is not just a mood. It's a motility blocker, and resolving it is foundational to flattening the belly. Ask yourself, are your meals being digested or just delayed? Because your nervous system never lets your gut do its job. Bloating isn't only about what or how you eat, but also when you eat. The gut has its own circadian rhythm, governed by light hormones and the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain. When circadian rhythm is disrupted from late night eating, X, blue at night, X, irregular sleep, jet lag, or shift work, you get slower gastric emptying, Z, delayed bile release, JAX, increased gut permeability, leaky gut. Nighttime fermentation, AV, morning bloat, sleep, also regulates melatonin, which in the gut, the G acts as an antioxidant. J supports microbiome health. K enhances barrier function, improving sleep, improving digestion, reducing bloat. Science-backed actions as the stop eating 23 hours, 3 hours before morning sunlight, consistent wake time, Beckshit dim lights 90 minutes before sleep, X, magnesium glycinate, and epigenin. If needed, challenge it. Is your bloating a food issue or a circadian signal being ignored? What part of your daily rhythm needs realignment? The gut microbiome plays a massive role in bloating. Gut bacteria ferment fibers and starches, producing gases like methane, linked to constipation, hydrogen, Z, hydrogen sulfide, but what determines how much gas your microbiome makes. surprisingly, your nervous system. Research shows that stress alters microbial composition. Vagus nerve stimulation improves bacterial diversity. Trauma reduces. Keystone. Species like bifidobacteria. The microbiome sends signals to your brain that influence mood and inflammation. It's a feedback loop. Stress dysbiosis gas brain fog and mood changes. More stress interventions that regulate both brain and microbiome. Polyphenols, blueberries, green tea, prebiotics, inulin, acacia fiber, X probiotics, N spore based or strain specific XA vagal toning practices, X low dose fermented foods. The goal is co-regulation, healing both brain and gut messaging, not just killing bad bacteria. Ask yourself, are you feeding your gut for flatness or for neurological calm and resilience that prevents bloating in the first place? One of the most overlooked causes of bloating is emotional holding. The stomach and diaphragm are often the first places we tense when stressed, afraid, or self-conscious. Over time, this creates the chronic abdominal tension, shallow breathing, reduced intestinal movement, poor core circulation. You might be bracing without realizing it. 6. Holding in. Emotions physically, trying to suck in. Your stomach out of body image, anxiety. All of these lead to reduced gut motility and increased internal pressure. Bloating. Neurosomatic release practices include diaphragmatic breathing, tension release, exercises, somatic journaling, describe gut feelings physically, abdominal massage, or rolling sometimes. The fix isn't in the food, but in allowing the belly to soften. Challenging, where in your life are you bracing, hiding, or holding? And what would it feel like to let your belly move freely again? Let's finish with a comprehensive, brain-aligned daily routine to reduce bloating at the root. Morning 6:16 is warm lemon water with pinch of salt, hydration's vagus stimulation, 5 minutes deep breathing or vagal humming, movement, walk, yoga, gentle cardio, sunlight within 30 minutes midday, eat lunch in a parasympathetic state, 304-hour fasting gap before next meal, MMC activations, light walk or stretching after eating, practice mindful chewing, 20-30 chews per bite, afternoon, hydrate between meals, not during that, no coffee after 2 p.m., caffeine, cortisol, motility dysregulation, track bloating episodes with notes on stress, sleep, and emotion, evening, stop eating 3 hours before bed, magnesium or herbal support is disrupted, screen. Dimming 90 minutes before sleep, reflect, was my bloating worse on emotionally charged days? Weekly, 1-day tech-free meals, 6-1 therapo coaching, somatic support session if possible, if 20 TWEPs fermented food servings, NAG. Key fire, kimchi, 2 sessions of TRE or abdominal self-massage, consistency over restriction. Nervous system over elimination. Ask yourself, what daily message is your gut sending? And how will you respond, not just react this week? You are not bloated because you're broken. You're bloated because your gut and brain are in a miscommunication loop. The fix isn't more restriction. It's more regulation. The science is clear. The vagus nerve controls digestion. Stress inhibits motility and perception, and bloating often reflects neural dysregulation, not just Diex retraining your nervous system restores digestive calm. You have the tools Kex breath, X light, sleep, X stillness, somatic awareness. Your gut doesn't want perfection. It wants permission to move, to rest, to be heard. Final question. What's one nervous system practice you will start this week? To speak safety into your gut and watch your bloating shift from the inside out. If this helped, share it. Comment with your moment and subscribe, because we're turning neuroscience into freedom, one gut at a time.